Oh, I just realized that I've been wearing this makeup all day. Maybe I should check and make sure. Oh, it's actually still on really well. Good for me. Hello everyone! I am here today to share with you guys another round of round 3 to be exact, of Colourpop. You know, color. So Colourpop is a brand of affordable makeup. They're made in LA, they're cruelty-free, and all of their products are around, I want to say $5 to $9, and they launch new products all the time. Like maybe every 2.5 seconds. And today we're not only going to walk through the best and worst products, in my personal opinion, that Colourpop has to offer, but I also sat down and I filmed a full face of Colourpop products, and we're going to talk about them as I'm applying them and kind of go through everything. There are a lot of products here. Just so many products. If you enjoy the buy or buys and you want to see more of them, make sure you give this button a big thumbs up. This one right here. Not on the screen, it's below. The thumbs up button really gives me a good understanding of the types of videos that you guys really enjoy watching and you want to see more of. So if you like this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And subscribe for new videos here every single week. And without further ado, let's get into this. So today we're going to start with the 5 out of 5. And I should pick an emoji. Colourpop, Colourpop, Colourpop. You know what? I think I'm gonna do balloons. Because to me, I think of like 5 balloons out of 5 is when you like pop one of those big balloons and like confetti and sparkles go like everywhere. And it's like this big celebration. It's super magical and very Disney and pretending I don't have to clean it up. So those are my go-to products, the ones that stay in my like everyday drawers, the ones I reach for constantly and I love, love, love. And let's start with the face. And the first product in the face category that I really like from Colourpop is their stick foundation. This is one that lives in my everyday drawer. It's one that I reach for fairly often. I would say right now I'm really enjoying the Pure 4-in-1 or 7-in-1 or 15-in-1, I don't know what it is. 4-in-1 Love Your Selfie. It's a foundation concealer. I really enjoy this. But I also do use the stick foundation from Colourpop quite a bit. I don't love the liquid version. It's just like, I don't like it. This one though, it blends down so beautifully. I actually use, I think this is honestly their powder brush that they have, but I use it for blending this out and it gives this like beautiful blurred airbrush kind of effect to the skin. It's really beautiful. It stays put really well for me. It doesn't settle into fine lines or creases around my mouth. It doesn't like cake up or get crusty throughout the day. It just sits very smooth and seamless on the skin. You can build up the amount of coverage that you want. You can keep it really light or just like really, you know, layer it on. And next on the face, the other skin product that I really like is their concealer. This is one that I've always had a really big love for. It is very high coverage. It just blends out really beautifully. It does oxidize a little bit, meaning that it does darken a bit underneath my eyes when I'm applying it. But other than that, I think it's a really good concealer. It sits really nicely under the eyes. It doesn't get really creasy or dry. It's just one of those concealers that, you know, you go to when you want something to work. It's really good. I really enjoy it. And then the next category of product, there's gonna be a lot of favorites. I'm warning you now. I got a lot of favorites from Colourpop. Next is the blush category. And of anything, I don't buy or use bronzers from Colourpop. It's just really not, I just don't. Love me about a bronzer. But the blush sticks that they like fairly recently launched, oh, I am in love with this formula. It blends out so beautifully. It gives this nice like dewiness to the skin. You can apply it and then like apply it on both sides like in stick streaky format and then blend it out on one side with a brush, and you know that when you go on to the next side it's not going to have dried down, it's not going to get really sticky or tacky or difficult to blend out. It just is so smooth. I have a love for Under Pressure, Mini Me, and Hooked. Those are probably my favorites of all of the different ones. This one is probably my favorite. I think I mixed up the lids. I think it says it's Hooked, but I think it's actually Under Pressure, at least by the lid color here. That I will say is the one thing that I don't love about these, just because I have a bunch of them and sometimes I'll like mix and match the colors and I'll mix up the lids by accident. I wish it was written on the bottom. But anyway, regardless, this one is definitely my favorite. A nice salmony pink. It's light, it's got a little nude to it. Blends like butter. I like how I just put on what I assume is the wrong lid. It's okay. Editing Rachel, fix it for me. I do also like their Super Shock Cheek. I would say Get Laid, which is more of that same sort of tone, like that nice warm salmony tone. Thumper is also really beautiful. Like, it's a bright pink, but it just shows up like a rosy flush, you know? And then Holiday is the other one. It's like a deeper tone of coral, and all of three of these I use pretty often. You can really build them up. On my skin right now, I have Get Laid on right now, and it's beautiful. It is very soft and subtle. I do find oftentimes I'll like put it on, and then by the time I'm ready to go, I have to put more on. Just gonna put some more on right now. These are probably the 6 blushes that I actually use like on an everyday basis the most often of all the different blushes that I currently own. They're really, really good quality. In love. And then I would say for highlight, I mean, I'm biased. I really like my palette. But for Colourpop specifically, there are 2 shades of highlights that I just really, really enjoy. One, their pressed powder one is in the shade Here Kitty Kitty. It's a little bit more pinky. It's a little bit more icy. I really like it. It's what I have on my skin right now. Just a really pretty shade. And every time I use it, I'm always like, why don't I use this more often? Oh, right, I created a highlight palette. And then from their Super Shock cheek line, I think my favorite, which is a classic, this is an OG one for a lot of people. I actually learned about it from, I think it was Nikki Tutorials, and it's kind of broken, so don't judge me. It's a little bit sad looking, but it's the shade Flexitarian. This is one of those shades, by the way. I love the fact that these highlights, for whatever reason, for me, they just never seem to dry out. I feel like I've had this forever and I won't let go of it, but it just hasn't dried out. It's still nice and creamy, which is amazing. But this is the shade right here. Like, look how icy and reflective, metallic, over the top it is. If you want to blind people with highlight, this is it. This will do it. Now we're gonna jump ahead to eyes, which is probably my favorite category from Colourpop, in particular their eyeshadows, their pressed eyeshadows. If I'm gonna like take all of the affordable makeup that I currently own, I think my favorite eyeshadows are Colourpop. They're just very consistent. I know when I get a palette, I'm gonna really love every single color. They've really put a lot of thought into the consistency and the blendability of all the different shades. And for me, at least, like of the ones that I've tried, and I have, you can see here, I have a lot of them. They've all just been super consistent. So every time I try a shade, it's always gonna look good. I know that the shades within each palette are all gonna work together really, really seamlessly. They're super fun, and they're releasing new ones all the time. Like, all the time. So really, if you're thinking of investing in a Colourpop palette, it's really a personal preference. So whatever ones really speak to you, shades that you're gonna reach for all the time, or what's gonna really inspire you to create really fun looks. For me, my favorite, okay, I have 2. One is a little bit newer, but I really, really love it. It is the Sweet Talk Pressed Powder Palette. And this, first of all, can we just look at this palette? Look at it. Tell me you don't love that. It's just like everything. It actually matches my whole outfit right now. So this is the palette that I'm using in this footage that you guys are watching, and I'm kind of creating a look with a lot of the shades that I use quite often. They are just so blendable and smooth, and they create really fun looks. I love that they have a lot of matte shades. They have some fun pressed glitters as well as shimmers. My other love, and this one, I lost it for a bit because my son hid it on me, but is the Mar eyeshadow palette. And this one, just something about the pops of blue mixed in with these like warm neutral shades that are just really easy breezy to use. I'm drawn to it. Highly recommend them. Of anything from Colourpop, if you like had to invest in one thing, for me, it's the eyeshadows. The pressed eyeshadows in particular, though I do have some other formulas and things that I also find myself reaching for a lot. One is the Jelly Much eyeshadows. These have more of like a wetter consistency. They're a little bit more on the jelly side. I wouldn't say like full on goopy, but more like a paste. And I also find, you can see they have like a little lid that says keep me on it, because they don't want you to take it off because it will dry out the product. But I find that even though I've kept it on, they do dry out fairly quickly. However, I find that they're still really usable products, which is good. So even though this is like dried out, it's still creamy enough that I can get some pigmentation. So you can see that right there. Like, it's still really, really pretty. So that's something that I haven't noticed with like a lot of the other, like the Super Shock eyeshadows. I find once they've dried out, that's it. Like, you can't use them anymore. These ones, it's just a different formula and they just seem to work well regardless. Some of my absolute favorites from the Jelly Much line. Like, there's a lot, but like these are my favorite 4. So we have We Jammin', which is like a nice vanilla shimmery color. That's what's on the palm of my hand right now. Ventura, which is more of like an icy, it has like a purpley pink reflect to it that's really gorgeous. Foxes is super fun. I remember getting this in a press package when they first launched these, and I was like, this shade, I need it. It's orangey, but it's bronzy and coppery and reflective, and just like, I just really love it. It looks really good on the eyes. And then Bungalow. And this reminds me of like a mermaid lagoon. It's just very reflective, very pretty. I'll use this as a liner. I'll dab it right onto the lids, kind of blend it out a little bit, add a little bit of brown to the crease, and I'm done. The only thing with these shadows is you have to work quickly when you're trying to blend it. Like if you're doing a deep color like this, you have to like really like press it on, blend it out immediately, and then go in with everything else because they dry down fast. And then the other eyeshadow product that I really love is the Superstars Loose Pigments. There are 2 shades in particular, and the shade I used is Cameo, which again, it kind of fit with the whole look that I was doing. It's got like a gold reflect to it, a nice peachy salmony undertone, which is sort of the vibe I was feeling at the time of filming that. And I kind of just spray a brush with little Fix Plus and have the powder on it and kind of tap it on. And they're super glittery, which is fun, which is why I like this one, which is Weekend. This one is fun because I find that when I put this on top of literally any eyeshadow look, it just adds this like iridescent sparkle. Overall, it's very uniform, it's very glittery, but it doesn't take away or detract from any color that you have underneath. I really enjoy that one. Now quickly, just with eyeliners, I really love their cream gel liners. I have a lot of success with them. I use their browns a lot, like the one that I'm using today and also in the video footage is Overboard, which is like a glittery shade, which I really, really enjoy. Their colorful ones are gorgeous. Today I'm using the cream gel liner in Piggy Bank. And it's just amazing. Actually, that reminds me of another shade that I need to talk about. Whoops, just one more eyeshadow, one more. And this is their pressed pigment in Seeing Stars, which is what I have on top of the eyeliner today. And it is a pressed pigment. It is super, super intense. And I love this shade. I find oftentimes brands don't nail purple, and it's like really patchy in application, or it just isn't that bright, but I don't have any white on underneath this. Like obviously I have some liner and I meant it to be much more of a softer purple today, but you can look up this shade and like people and how they've used it and worn it, and it's absolutely stunning. Like out of all of their pressed powder shadows, like this one is my favorite. And now moving on to the category that started it all. Lip products. And there are formulas from Colourpop that I don't particularly like and ones that I do and I gravitate towards a lot. So I'm gonna go over those. And I have to say, out of everything in the lip category that they currently offer, my absolute favorite formula of everything has to be the blotted lip. I'm wearing the shade Slide in the tutorial, and the blotted lip is basically like this barely there, can't feel it on your lips, kind of a blurred color effect. And it's not supposed to be super crisp or super clean lines. It just gives this beautiful popsicle stain look to the lips that I am in love with. There are 3 shades in particular that I love. I think there's another one too. I think it's Doozy, I think. I had to find it. I don't know where it went. But Out of Beach, Swing Away, and Slide are the ones that I go to the most. I highly recommend that formula. Of anything that I've tried, it is the bomb. My next favorite is probably the Satin Lip. It's a nice mixture between the ultra matte lip and the glossy. It just kind of, it's like a nice liquid lipstick, like a real true cream lipstick. It is not the most long lasting, but it's not gonna wear off your lips immediately either. In terms of like shade selections, you guys can tell I really love corals. That wasn't clear from this video. Be Okay and Tokyo Tea are absolutely gorgeous. Likely, which I have on my lips right now, it's more of a warm tone neutral. These ones do require touch-ups. They are not going to stay fully on the lips really, really well. They are going to wear with time, with eating, with drinking, all that kind of stuff. So you do have to maintain them, but they're really, really comfortable on the lips. And then the only ultra matte lips that I will wear on a very, very regular basis, there are specific colors that I love from Colourpop. One is Magic Wand. They all kind of look very similar, you can see. Magic Wand, Echo Park, and Midnight Snack. These all look phenomenal for me personally. They're like that perfect nude shade for me. Some skew a little bit more pink, some a little lighter, some a little darker, but these three are basically my go-tos. The other ones I've really loved as of recently, the Just a Tint line. These are gorgeous, actually. They are definitely more of like a sheer wash of color, but definitely buildable. Like, you do get a punchy color with these, and they smell like this like sugary deliciousness. My three favorites are Maui Wowie, Cherry Pickin', and Rise and Shine. These are the ones that I go to the most often and I find are just the most flattering for me, but I really like the formula. It's very hydrating and they're really flexible. I really like them. And now that we have all the favorites out of the way, let's go into my least favorite products from Colourpop. These for me are like 2.5 to 3 balloons out of 5. These aren't like horrific dumpster fire, but they're not super great either. I don't reach for them at all. So think of it like a balloon, like you're gonna pop it and you want that big like explosive confetti and you just pop it and it just sort of deflates. It's just like, and you're just like, ah, that was disappointing. Looked better like a balloon. So the first one on the list for me, I actually wore it in the tutorial just to kind of show you guys what it looked like, is the volumizing mascara. They launched this in a variety of different colors. A lot of them were really fun and unique and different, but I find that unless you're applying the color to top and bottom, the black transfers on top of the color and then it just sort of mixes and it becomes this like murky mess by the end of the day. And then for the black one, I love how it looks on the top lashes. I will say that they are really big and thick and fluffy and gorgeous and I love them. But as soon as I put this on my lower lashes, it does not matter how much I set under the eyes, it will transfer. I will get raccoon eyes, little dots like speckling under my eyes. I want it to work and it doesn't. I also haven't been a really big fan of their stick highlights. When you first apply them, they're really, really pretty. I loved like this particular shade, like you can see, gorgeous when you first apply it. But I find that as I'm blending it out with a brush and then I look at my skin throughout the day, it just looks like glitter on my skin. I've tried a couple of different colors. I've tried blending it out a couple of different ways. It's not my favorite. I like the blushes a lot more. That just didn't do it for me. Next up is the Ultra Matte Lip. It's not my favorite formula, I gotta be honest. It's great for, okay, there's a specific reason that it's good for. If you are going to an event and you need your lipstick to stay on like really, really well and for a long period of time, not transfer at all, like a bright color, like a really nice, like a bright red or something like that, I get it, definitely worth it. But I find if I'm trying to wear a color all day long and I don't want it to transfer and I don't want to touch it up, you're still gonna get that ring on the inside of your lip where it starts to peel away, which looks terrible, especially with a dark color. And if your lips are even the slightest bit dry or crusty in any way, it is going to emphasize it times a million. And then the Super Shock eyeshadow singles. I know, a lot of you are really confused. These, I feel like these are these things, like I keep a whole bunch of them and I want to love them, I want to use them, and I never do. And then they dry out really, really quickly, a lot quicker than, surprisingly, the highlights and the blushes. I find that those last a really long time. These dry out on me so quickly. And they're one of those eyeshadows that I want to use more often. Honestly, I find that I get the same effect from a lot of the eyeshadow palettes that I have, and then I have a whole mix of mattes and shimmers and they're all together versus these like the packaging of these is very clunky. So yeah, I know, like these are so popular, everyone loves them, I want to use them more, it's just I don't. Can you guys let me know in the comment section what your favorite or least favorite Colourpop product is? Because I really want to know, and I feel like if we all have like all of these comments down below of all of these great product finds, I feel like we could find some really good gems to add to our carts and spend more money. Check out these videos on the side in case you've missed any buy or buys in particular. I've done a whole bunch of different brands, from drugstore brands to high-end brands. If you have any recommendations for brands you want to see next, leave them in the comment section below. That's where I will be checking. And thank you so much for watching this round of buy or buy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys all in my next video. Love you all. Mwah.